Imagine disappearing for 6 months. Not running away, not hiding from anyone, just gone from the version of your life everyone has memorized. No updates, no explanations, no posts about the new you. No begging anyone to notice the effort. Just silence. And work. Somewhere behind that silence, a different person is being built. Here's the question that should scare you a little. What if the fastest way to change your life is to stop showing people you're changing it? Most people announce a goal the moment they feel motivated. They tell their friends, they post the plan, they enjoy the applause before they've earned it, and 3 weeks later, they're back exactly where they started. Because talking about change feels like progress. But it isn't. There's a different way. One man built it into a philosophy. Bruce Wayne didn't hold a press conference about becoming Batman. He vanished. He trained in places no one could see. He failed in the dark, where failure couldn't be used against him. And when he finally reappeared, the world didn't get an explanation. They got a result they couldn't argue with. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to disappear from the noise, break the patterns keeping you stuck, rebuild your identity in private, and return as someone your old friends barely recognize, not because you tell them you've changed, because they can see it. Think about the last time you actually changed something and told no one. Hard to remember, isn't it? That's because most of us have been trained to perform growth instead of actually doing it. We've confused visibility with progress, but progress was never loud. It was never asking for permission. It was two people in two different rooms, doing the same hard thing, one talking about it, one just doing it, and only one of them changes. This video isn't motivation, it's a method. Let's begin. Disappear from the noise. Your brain cannot build something new while it's constantly reacting to something old. Every notification is a small interruption. Every scroll is a comparison. Every opinion you absorb from strangers online quietly rewires what you think you should want. This is the first problem nobody tells you about. You're not lacking motivation, you're drowning in noise. Disappearing doesn't mean abandoning the people who matter to you. It means cutting the constant stream of input that keeps your mind too busy to build anything real. Here's the practical version. Turn off every notification that isn't from an actual human being who needs you. Delete the apps you open out of boredom, not intention. Stop checking what other people are doing with their lives before you've decided what to do with yours. Build 2 or 3 hours a day where your phone is in another room, not just face down on the desk. Spend time alone on purpose, not as a punishment, but as an experiment. The common mistake here is treating solitude like isolation. It isn't. Solitude is where you finally hear your own thoughts instead of everyone else's opinions about your life. Try this for 1 week. 1 hour a day, completely alone, phone in another room, no exceptions. Notice what surfaces when the noise finally stops. Think about the student who studies with 5 tabs open, 1 for notes, 4 for distraction, and wonders why nothing sticks after 3 hours. Now think about the version of them who closes everything except the 1 tab that matters, and finishes in 90 minutes what used to take an entire evening. Same brain, same intelligence, different environment for the mind to work in. Or think about the person at the gym scrolling between sets, checking who liked their last post while their heart rate drops back to resting. Their body never actually crosses into growth because the nervous system never gets uninterrupted stress to adapt to. Noise doesn't just steal your time, it steals your intensity, and intensity is what separates practice from transformation. Stop announcing your transformation. Here's an uncomfortable truth about human psychology. Telling people your goal can trick your brain into feeling like you've already achieved it. Researchers call it social recognition of intent. Your mind rewards you with the same satisfaction as actual progress, just for saying the plan out loud. Which means the more you talk about becoming disciplined, the less urgency you feel to actually become it. So the rule is simple. Stop announcing. Start executing. Don't tell people about the workout plan. Show up and train. Don't post the business idea. Build the first version quietly. Don't explain the new sleep schedule, just follow it for 30 days straight. Don't defend the diet, the routine, or the goal to anyone. Let the results argue for you later. This is where Batman's philosophy becomes useful, not as a costume, but as a strategy. The transformation happens in the shadows. The city only sees the outcome. The common mistake is confusing accountability with announcement. You can absolutely tell one trusted person your plan for real accountability. What you shouldn't do is perform your goals for an audience of people who have no stake in your outcome. Picture two people starting the same fitness journey on the same Monday. The first posts a story, "New me starts today," and gets 40 likes by lunch. The second says nothing, shows up to the gym, and leaves. By Friday, the first person is explaining to their followers why they missed 2 days. The second person has simply trained 4 times, and nobody's asked them to explain anything. Because there was never a promise made to an audience, only to themselves. Notice which one is under more pressure to quit, and which one is quietly building proof. The applause you get for announcing a goal is a loan against your future motivation, and loans always come due. Kill the old routines. You cannot build a new identity while protecting every habit of the old one. That's not transformation. That's decoration. Most people want new results while keeping every behavior that produced the old ones. It doesn't work that way. Take an honest inventory. Late-night scrolling that steals your morning energy. Procrastination disguised as waiting for motivation. Constantly needing someone to validate a decision you already made. A sleep schedule with no structure. Avoiding the one hard task that would actually move things forward. Quitting the moment something feels uncomfortable. Here's the exercise. Take a piece of paper and write one sentence. What does the old version of me repeatedly do? Then underneath it, write, what would the version of me I'm building do instead? Don't just delete the old behavior. Replace it, or it will crawl right back the first stressful week you have. If the old habit was scrolling at 11 at night, the replacement isn't stop scrolling, it's reading 10 pages, or laying out clothes for tomorrow, or reviewing the day's wins. Something specific enough that your hands have somewhere else to go. The common mistake is trying to kill 5 habits in 1 week and burning out by day 3. Pick one. Master the replacement for 2 weeks, then move to the next. Think about the version of you who's late to everything, not because you don't care, but because the old routine was built around chaos, snoozing 3 times, deciding what to wear in a panic, leaving with no breakfast and no plan for the day. Now build the replacement, piece by piece, clothes chosen the night before, alarm across the room, not beside the bed, 10 minutes with a notebook before the phone ever gets touched. None of this is dramatic, none of it will make a highlight reel. But 6 weeks later, the person walking into that room isn't rushing, isn't apologizing, isn't scattered. They're early, and they don't even remember deciding to become that way. That's what killing an old routine actually looks like. Not a dramatic breakup with your past self, just quiet, boring repetition until the new way is the only way you know. Change your environment. Willpower is overrated, and your environment is underrated. If your surroundings keep triggering the old behavior, you'll spend all your discipline just resisting it, with nothing left over to actually build. Here's the shift. You don't always need more willpower. You need fewer temptations in arm's reach. Practical environment design. Charge your phone outside the bedroom, not next to your pillow. Keep the workspace prepared the night before, so friction is gone before you even wake up. Put the book you're supposed to be reading where your phone used to sit. Make the healthy option the easiest option in the kitchen, not the hardest. Spend more time around people who are also building something, and less time around people who only talk about what they're going to do someday. Batman didn't fight crime from a bedroom cluttered with distraction. He built a cave, purpose-built for the work, with nothing in it that didn't serve the mission. Your environment doesn't need a cave, it needs intention. Think about the difference between 2 desks. One is covered in wrappers, half-finished notes, a phone propped up mid-video, and a charger tangled in yesterday's clothes. The other has 1 notebook, 1 pen, water within reach, and a phone that isn't even in the room. You could put the exact same person at either desk, and you'd get two completely different outputs, not because their intelligence changed, but because their environment either fought them or worked for them. Same logic applies to relationships. If your closest circle mocks discipline, treats ambition as arrogance, or pulls you back toward the old version of you every time you try to grow, that environment is working against the person you're rebuilding. You don't need to cut people off dramatically. You simply need to spend more hours around evidence of what's possible and fewer hours around excuses dressed up as loyalty. Build in silence. This is where most transformations actually die, not from lack of effort, but from needing an audience for every step of the effort. Train without posting it, study without narrating it, improve without needing anyone to clap. Here's why this matters psychologically. Every time you seek external validation for effort, you outsource your motivation to other people's approval, and approval is inconsistent. Some days you'll get it, some days you won't. And if your drive depends on it, your consistency will collapse the day the applause doesn't show up. To be clear, silence is not isolation. You can still call your friends. You can still ask for help when you actually need it. The difference is, you stop needing permission or praise for every small improvement. Here's a 7-day challenge. For 7 days, don't announce a single goal. Don't post a single achievement. Just execute, and let the results accumulate where only you can see them. By day 7, you'll notice something strange. The work feels different when no one's watching. Steadier, more honest. Become obsessed with the process. People don't actually crave transformation. They crave the visible proof of it, the compliment, the recognition, the follower count, the moment someone says you look different. But real transformation is invisible for most of the timeline. The body doesn't change in the first week. The mind doesn't feel sharper after one good night's sleep. The skill doesn't feel mastered after 3 sessions. So if you're only chasing visible results, you'll quit exactly when the real work begins. Instead, make the process itself the target. Track hours trained, not how you look yet. Track pages studied, not how smart you feel yet. Track workouts completed, not the number on the scale yet. Track promises kept to yourself, not what anyone else has noticed yet. Build a simple daily scorecard, 3 columns. What I said I'd do. Did I do it? 1 sentence on how it felt. Fill it out every night for 30 days. You'll stop asking, am I becoming someone different? And start seeing the proof stacking up in front of you. Rebuild your identity. This is the core of everything. Most people try to change behavior first and hope identity eventually catches up. It works backward. Identity drives behavior, not the other way around. Stop saying I'm trying to become disciplined. Start collecting evidence that you already are. Every promise you keep to yourself is evidence. Every hard rep you finish when you wanted to stop is evidence. Every time you choose the harder, quieter path over the easy, loud one, that's evidence. Identity isn't a sentence you declare once. It's a case you build, one action at a time. Until even you believe the verdict. Bruce Wayne didn't wake up one morning and decide he was Batman. He earned that identity through years of training, failure, discipline, and repetition. Until the mask wasn't a disguise anymore, it was just an accurate reflection of who he'd already become. You're doing the same thing. Without the cape, every day you keep a promise to yourself. You're casting a vote for the person you're rebuilding. The mirror test. There's a moment in every real transformation that nobody warns you about. It doesn't happen in public. It happens alone. Usually late at night. Usually when you're tired, standing in front of a mirror, and for the first time in months, you actually look at yourself instead of past yourself, and something feels different. Not because your body has completely changed, not because you've mastered everything you set out to learn, but because the person looking back isn't flinching anymore. They're not making excuses in their head. They're not rehearsing an explanation for why they haven't started yet. They already started. Weeks ago. quietly. This is the mirror test, and it's the real marker of transformation, not the compliments you get later, not the followers, not the attention. It's that private second where you finally trust the person you're becoming. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes at this stage. The moment they notice the change, they want to announce it immediately. To finally get the recognition they've been quietly craving. Resist that, not because secrecy is noble for its own sake, but because the moment you start performing the change, you shift your attention from becoming to being seen, and being seen was never the goal. Let the mirror test happen as many times as it needs to. Let it become boring, let it become normal. That's how you know the identity has actually settled in, not just visited for a while. Return as someone different. The goal was never to disappear forever. The goal was to disappear long enough to actually rebuild something real. At some point, the invisible work becomes visible. Your body has changed. Your reactions have slowed down, become more deliberate. Your standards have quietly gone up, and you don't accept what you used to accept. Your confidence stops needing to announce itself, because it's no longer a performance. People will notice. They'll ask what happened. They'll ask what changed. Don't give them a speech. You won't need one. The answer is standing right in front of them. Think about the classmate who barely spoke for a semester, then walked into finals prepared in a way that made everyone else's cramming look desperate. Think about the coworker who quietly stopped complaining about the promotion they wanted and started arriving early, staying focused, closing every gap in their skill set, until the promotion wasn't a request anymore. It was inevitable. Think about the friend who disappeared from every group chat for a summer and came back calmer, sharper, harder to shake, not because anything dramatic happened to them, but because they finally gave themselves permission to work without narrating it. That's what this entire method is really about. Not a costume, not a persona, just a version of you that stopped asking for permission to grow and started collecting proof instead. The system hears the entire method in one line you can actually remember. Disappear. Remove the noise pulling you back into old patterns. Rebuild the identity you actually want to carry. Train it daily, without needing anyone to see the work. Repeat it until it's no longer effort. Just who you are. Return not with an announcement, but with evidence nobody can argue with. That's the whole method. No shortcuts, no hacks, just disappearance with a purpose. You don't need to announce your transformation. You don't need everyone to understand what you're doing or why. You don't need permission to become someone different. Disappear from the noise. Disappear from the habits that keep you small. Disappear from the need for everyone's approval. Then rebuild, quietly, daily, until the results are impossible to ignore. Let the old version of you become a chapter you outgrew, not the identity you're stuck defending. If you're ready to disappear from the person you've already outgrown, comment one word below, rebuilding, not as a promise to anyone watching, as a promise to yourself